Man of Steel is the story of Kal-El, a Kryptonian sent to Earth to change the face of humanity.
Goodbye, my son. Our hopes and dreams travel with you.
He'll be an outcast. I'll kill him.
How? He'll be a god to them.
What if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended? What if a child aspired to something greater?
My son was in the bus. He saw what Clark did.
Now, if you haven't already realised, Kal-El, Man of Steel is Superman, the Superman reboot by Zack Snyder, who is sort of a very hit and miss director. Some stuff he's done is good, and some stuff, well, you can have your own assumption on this. Before I begin, sorry about the really echoey sound, and then the bad lighting, and then the beanie. I am currently redecorating my entire room, so no big fancy lights, and also I have not time to do my hair or anything today, so that explains the beanie. Now let me start off by saying I really, really, really love Superman. It's been my childhood. I watched it as a kid. I watched all the films. I used to love the cartoons, the Justice League cartoons. I never really read the comics. I read a few here and there. I read the Death of Clark Kent. I used to always get a few comics from the library, but other than that, I've not been a big, I'm more of a movie goer than a comic fan. I was a fan of 1, 2, and surprisingly 3, just mainly because 3 was very sort of childlike and a bit silly, and I was only about 4 when I saw it. And then the 4th one is pretty boring and pretty dumb, and that guy from 2.5 Men is really stupid. And then Superman Returns, I really desperately wanted to like it. I really tried to like it. I was so excited. And even when I came out of the cinema, when I was I think I was only 10 at the time, I remember thinking, wow, this really sucked. I just did not like it. And I tried to convince myself, I tried to say, well, that was good. But I thought it was boring, and it was really, long-winded. And I was surprised because Bryan Singer does the X-Men films, so he did 1 and 2, which are 2 of my favourite films. But no, I just didn't like it. So I was very sceptical of Man of Steel, but I was also very interested to see how they'll do it and take Superman in a new direction. Sort of the Batman Begins of Superman. Now, there's been a lot of controversy around this film, such as Rotten Tomatoes giving it something like 50 out of 100, which is really dumb because then Superman Returns has a higher rating, and so does Indiana Jones Temple of the Crystal Skull. So, Rotten Tomatoes, you have no idea what you're talking about. So yes, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Man of Steel. Don't get me wrong, it had its little flaws here and there, and a lot of the complaints I can see, yeah, okay, I can see that makes sense. But really, I think a lot of people are just nitpicking. They're not something that will take the film to be this sort of piece of shit that people are making it out to be. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would see it again, and it's on my top list of favourite films. Now let me talk about the casting. Henry Cavill, or Cavill, I think it's Cavill, but Cavill sounds way cooler. He was perfect for Superman. He's got that whole look, he's got that big sort of chin that Superman should have. He's got sort of buff look, and when they said it was him, originally I remember thinking, really, him? Because the only thing I'd saw him in was the only thing I'd seen him in was Stardust, where he played a very minor character, and I thought him as Superman, just because he's just not buff or anything. But no, surprised, pleasantly surprised. I thought he did really well. I think the accent was perfect, and it really sort of, he really put his all into his character. You could see he wasn't messing around. Amy Adams as Lois Lane, I think she was pretty good. I think she was better than the originals. The original Lois Lane really used to annoy me. She's just driving me nuts. Even as a kid, I think, what the hell are you doing? Why are you always in trouble? Stop screaming. But I think Amy Adams did a good job. One thing I would say is it was a bit odd hearing her swear all the time. Not all the time, but she swore a few times or said dick a lot. It was just weird hearing her say it, because the only films I've really seen her in was Enchanted and the Muppets movie. So, you know, coming from her, that'd be like hearing Barney the dinosaur, you know, rap with N-words in the lyrics. It just like kind of threw me. But you know, overall she did a good job, and I'd like to see where she takes it. Russell Crowe as Kal-El's father, Jor-El, I thought was brilliant. I loved how he had a much bigger part in this film than, you know, I thought. Was he as good as the original Jor-El, played by that guy who's in The Godfather, whose name I always forget? Possibly. I think that they portrayed it very differently. And in the first Superman film, Jor-El was sort of just like a back character, like he's only in like the first few scenes. But in this, he's very prominent in the story, and like, you know, is with Clark. I almost said Peter Parker then. With Clark all the way and stuff. And I think he did a good job. And Russell Crowe, I'm also very sceptical of, just because I've heard some stuff about him. People say he's a bit of a dick, but you can't deny he's a pretty good actor. I also thought the guy who played Clark Kent's adopted father, sorry, I always forget the character's name and the actor's name. I thought he did a very good job. I think he was very passionate, and I loved his death. We always know Clark Kent's adopted father will die. Like, that's just, you know, in every film he will die, any reboot or whatever. But they did it really well, and I loved how, like, in the original film it was sort of just a simple heart attack, which was okay, but this was something more passionate, and it genuinely brought a tear to my eye. Like, see the film, it's really, really like passionate, like, and I was surprised. I just came to see Superman beat the shit out of you know, bad guys and stuff. Which also brings me to the villain, Zod, who I thought was good, and it was portrayed well. I can't remember the actor's name. Sorry, I'm not really. A lot of the actors I'm not, you know, I don't hugely know, but I think he was really good as Zod. But the only thing I would say is he's not one of these bad guys I'm gonna, you know, particularly remember as, like, you know, say like the height of Joker. And I know Zod's quite a prominent bad guy in the Superman, you know, universe, but still, I thought it was good, but it's not something I'm going to, you know, remember and take away from this film specifically. I think he was just there to sort of, like, you know, wait till we get, you know, Lex Luthor involved. One thing I would say is the action gets a little repetitive. Like, so much, like, there's so much action, it can sort of get boring. You sort of you start to zone out, which, you know, it's sort of Zack Snyder's thing. You either love him or hate him, and, you know, he's very prominent for his sort of his big action. He's a very visual director. But if you really love just like seeing Superman beat the shit out of, you know, stuff and destroy cities, then this is the film for you. Plot-wise, I thought the film did very good. I loved the sort of, it was very Batman Begins-esque. It has a lot of flashbacks, a lot of backtracking, and that's why Batman Begins is like one of my favourite films, and I thought that was a really cool aspect. Overall, great film, fun time, and I don't know what everyone's moaning about, because I really enjoyed it. So what did you think of Man of Steel? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like the original films? Did you like Superman Returns? Because I know I didn't. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you next time.
You believe your son is safe? I will find him!
My father believed if the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
Well, here it's an S. How about super?
Excuse me.